Da-da-da-da-da-ba-ba-ba. Hello, everyone. Yeah, pardon me. Right now, I should probably be, I don't know, recording tomorrow's video because the long patrol for tomorrow has managed to corrupt itself, or should possibly be having a snooze because last night I got, well, despite being a sort of semi-functioning insomniac or a functioning insomniac, I got no sleep at all because, yay, emergency waterworks. So I think that's what's going on outside my house. Honestly, they looked a bit weird. I'll leave that to one side. They were noisy. They kept us all up. But no, I'm not. I just don't feel like it. So that's definitely an American design. And it's now 1.3.9.7. This keeps going up. Hello, I love history. So, yeah, I'm not sure. What was I going to do today? What was I going to do today? Oh, yeah. Let's explain some responses, shall we? British Empire's response to Japan. How's that sound? Now, this is always an interesting point to get into because when we start considering, and the response will of course be to my lovely equivalent to Yamato. So this is my UAD version of Yamato with her 46 caliber 18.1 inch guns, with her incredibly heavy armor. Let's see if we can't make it slightly less likely to be pitching up and down. How can we affect the pitch, perhaps? Yeah, she's got all those, she's got all those. We'll take it up to about 83,000 for this game. Every time they upgrade things, the weights and some of the balances change. And it's fine. You sort it out, you deal with it, but you know. If we do leave it as triple, and those are all the best. That's all the best it can be. How much are we overweight? Half weight offset. Okay. We'll take that down to 10 inches. How's that sound? Hello! Ali, you subscribed for 5 months. Thank you. And a cannon blast it was. Cannon blasting. Goody. Hello, Renan. Hello, John Culver. Curse you Twitch ads. Why are you cursing the Twitch ads? They are not too terrible, I hope. There we go. Right, so this is our Yamato class.
She is very heavily armoured, accurately gunned, and I have given her I've even given her semi-automatic gun reload, everything I can to boost her up. But you will notice gun range given here. They're giving a range of 35.3 kilometers. So please note, this is because it's its range angled at roughly 30 degrees. So someone the other day was messaging going, well, don't they have a range of, I think it was roughly 40 something kilometers from memory. And yes, they do it angled at 45 degrees. But for some reason, the guns here do not seem to have the firing solution for 45 degrees. They can only go up to a maximum 30 degrees. These guns are the most advanced guns I can give them. They're the Mark III 18.1 inch gun. So I can't do any more. So there you go. And this is a conventional Lion class. This is my conventional Lion class. It's cute. Let's test this out as our baseline, shall we? Now, I have to admit, this is a Lion class slightly modified with war experience. And I am not sure. I'm going to leave it on, the AI in control, as long as I don't think the AI is doing suicide runs again. If the AI starts doing suicide runs, there is no point in doing that testing. Because suicide runs are no point. This is for Royal Navy Lion class against 2 Yamatos. As we always know, these are my souped up Yamatos, so they are souped up, but they're also dealing with 36. Yeah, you're doing the suicide run. Nope, not happening. Not happening at all. I'm not doing suicide runs. I do not know why, this has the plan for the suicide run, but it does. Now, yes, I have my battleships doing 23 knots, which is their best speed. For, how do I put this politely, for being able to keep up a regular level of fire, so it's kind of their cruising speed and most accurate, speed. But the maximum speed I can have them going is 29 knots. Despite these being 30-knot ships, there is a function in UAD which is accounting for potential engines in different issues in terms of, how do I put this politely, in terms of, what kind of issues might happen in the engineering. So they actually have a system that they try and factor in the likely issues that could happen. Why, in the name of all things holy, are you doing that? What kind of... Why would you try and get into 8-inch gun range of them? They're 18-inch gun battleships. Look what happens when you get hit by one at close range. I don't know. Incoming ad break starts in 19 seconds. Yes, there's an ad break incoming for those who have outbreaks. Does it say I can snooze it? Potentially. I'm not sure. I'll start straight. Yes, I know Jingles has mentioned that the lovely pagodas are a bit of a fun thing, but division. Detach. No, go away. Right, again, quite actually normal for a battle. Ships turning off and leaving the battle to so that they can, you know, survive. It's interesting. Lion got stuck. Lion did, but this is the trouble. This is why you do not get to close range with these ships. But also, another reason why I've taken them off is because, honestly, while they're concentrating on firing at Lion, they're not firing at these ships. Which is their own stupid mistake, because, honestly, they've left 3 ships to just pummel away at them long range quite happily, without any problems. That's not sensibly what you do. You do not leave these ships alone. Pieces... Sometimes peace is an option. Sometimes peace is an option. But... in this scenario, no, it's not. Hukyu is no chance. Never leave them alone. Got Valiant, Redoubtable, and Montague in this fight. No, the AI is always charge. 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 And it's like, it's actually sensible in this scenario because the 18.1 inch guns don't have the same range. But still, yeah, this is just not a good scenario. 1 ship on 3, it's not only outnumbered in terms of gunfire, it's outnumbered it's outmassed in terms of gunfire. The 8-inch shells are good, and 9 of them do probably amass a greater broadside than 9 16-inch shells. But 27. Yeah, that's probably going to win the fight. There we go. So, what was that scenario? Well, Lion didn't sink, which is good. But usually we think about things in terms of one-on-one. We think about a lot of naval history in terms of one-on-one.
But the reality is, the British and the Americans, if they're showing up to fight the Japanese, are not going to be turning up 1-on-1. Now, if they do turn up 2-on-2, I would say, if the British are risking 2-on-2, then the ship they've probably got is not the Lion class. It's probably, might be the last two Lion class, who I would reckon would have been upgraded to this standard if the British learned about Yamato. Now, potentially the British go with an 18-inch gun design response, but also potentially they go for their off-the-shelf quad turrets, and they go, hello, we'd like you. And, yeah. We're going to launch this and see what happens. Because I've done 1-on-1, and if you watch the video on YouTube at the moment, that should be live. But I haven't done 2-on-2 of these. And nope. I am just going to leave you to keep organized and keep in the flow. Resolution and Dreadnought. Let's see what happens with you two. You two are going off that way. You two are going off this way. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Now, if you're thinking, hang on Alex, there's 32 16-inch guns in this fight. Yes, there are. Against 18 18-inch guns. And in the previous fight, there were 36 16-inch guns versus 18 16-inch guns. So in this fight, there's not quite as many 16-inch guns as there was in the previous fight. And the previous fight saw one ship get squished. Let's see. Yes, they have. Once again, they keep targeting the namesake of the class. No idea why that is. Previously, the Lion was at the front, and the Dreadnought is at the back. I would say myself, the sheer amount of armor that these ships have should make them fairly difficult for the engagement of the Japanese. Although, yeah, it looks like Yamato suffered a lot more than whatever the other one's called, Mikasa.
Mikasa is the flagship, Yamato is the second, and... Oh, Yamato is out of 18-inch ammunition, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I'm going to do something which you probably shouldn't do. Actually, I'm not going to interfere. I was tempted to interfere more than I already am, in terms of correcting for the suicide urge charge urge. But, no, I'm going to leave it be. But basically, hello, we are Alfaris. Custom battles today. Custom battles today. So I'm, after I've done this and I've talked about some more about likely Yamato response ships, and frankly, this is the unlikely Yamato response ship, but it's certainly not beyond the realm of possibility, because what the British are mostly doing is going with very much off-the-shelf options. And yeah, after this, I'll be taking suggestions of people of what they would like to see designed, and what kind of scenario they'd like to see fought. So people, that's what I'm going to be doing today. Basically, people's suggestions designed, and we'll see what we're going to do. People give me a theme, and I'll put it together. The thing is, Yamato can't fire back because Yamato has had. I'm guessing that's because that turret became a member of the Japanese Space Force. And so they have no 18-inch ammo, so this ship's being sunk, basically. But the thing is, yeah, these things are absolute beasts. I will say this. 16-inch guns in 16-inch guns is certainly not something you want to have turning up. Yes, I do. I think everyone else would agree. I do this. Let people tell me what they see me design on a quite regular basis. I think most Fridays. Usually it's campaigns and strategy games on Sunday mornings, and it's basically my version of relaxing on a Friday evening, which is just random. But the video which has come live. Oh, thank you for thank you for following the channel. We are Alfaris. The video which has gone live on my YouTube channel tonight, I built all these ships for it to test today, because basically I was going, right, so these are what could be the responses. It's always good to design ships in these games. It's a good game to design them in. I think I'm sufficiently annoying them. Let's do that, because this could annoy them even more. Because this one, Mikasa is trying to chase me around, and I think Yamato's over there, and if Yamato doesn't sink soon, I'm going to be surprised, because the thing I find about the 16 inches, and you're more than welcome to try this, is that it pretty much guarantees a hit almost every salvo because of the percentages. It's the sheer volume of fire. Oof. Yawa. Ouch. And I think Mikasa has managed to hit the Dreadnought. Yamato has sunk. Yep, I have a feeling this is not going to well. If I'm correct, Princess Wells had problems with her quad guns while fighting this one. Yes, so basically these would be Generation 2 of the quad guns. In a world where the World War II doesn't break out in 1939, but the British do learn about the Yamato's existence, how do the British necessarily react? Well, if you've already got the quad guns in service and you've ironed out the faults, then you could quite happily move on to, let's put in 16-inch quad guns, and let's make the new Dreadnought class as a response, because by that point, quad turrets will be off-the-shelf technology. The Lion class ended service, so 16-inch guns are off-the-shelf technology. They already were, because of Nelson and Rodney, but they're pretty much off-the-shelf technology. So basically what you'd be doing is a very much an off-the-shelf solution, which would look amazing, because let's be honest, you could go, we've got 16 16-inch guns, that sounds cool. You know, we want 8 and we want, wait, we've got 16 16. That's a scary combination. Especially if you keep the 30-knot speed of the Lion class. So then you have a vessel which can do 30 knots, and, well, which will do 30 knots. Ah, he's really trying to push into me. Really trying to. Right then, let's go see what he's doing. Yes, you're a lovely ship, Mikasa. But Mikasa ain't Tsukasa, and frankly, I do not want to deal with you. I know that was rude. Please don't. I do know that. Why was HMS Nelson so unique in her design? Nelson and Rodney aren't really as unique as they are often sort of pushed out to be. They are unique unique in design. They're unique in construction because they're constructed in the 1920s, and they're pretty much the only battleships in the world which are a brand new design constructed in the 1920s. So they are the font of World War I in knowledge, being chucked by the Royal Navy into a ship design under the treaty limitations, so they're built within the treaty limits, and the British infrastructure limitations without being able to invest and grow the infrastructure because the government won't give them the money because of the 10-year rule. So they are the best ships they can get which will fit that criteria. And there are lots of navies which look at very similar ships. There are lots of navies which come up with similar solutions. The thing is implementing them, and the British have a reason to implement them that others don't. You are not having a good time, Mikasa, are you? I thought you could actually, you were doing pretty well earlier, but now it looks like I can almost leave that to the AI, I think. But there again, will the AI be stupid and try and get really, really, really frigging close? Probably. Probably. Loose. Oh, you are not, you stupid AI. Why do you do this? Why charge into gun range? Do you have a favourite battleship sign? Look, HMS Renown is my favourite battlecruiser, and there's a reason my campaign is incredibly battlecruiser heavy. But leaving that to one side, probably... I do have a soft spot for Nelson and Rodney, because all they tried. HMS Tiger, probably my favourite of the 13.5-inch ships, but... I'd say because they get so forgotten and they were the first super dreadnoughts, my favourite, as in the ones I look forward to, are the Orions. And I know that's all the British list, but I do have favourites amongst the Americans and I have favourites amongst the Germans, but if I'm being honest, yeah, there's a bit of national pride going on, and my favourite of my favourites is the Orions. Nerods are very clever, and let's be honest, if the Royal Navy had made the 35,000 tons instead of 33,500 tons in standards, the odds are they would have been, well, they would have been designed to be a lot faster. They could have done 28 knots. Because, as it was, they seemed to definitely be able to make 26 knots, despite an official speed of roughly 23, 24 knots. Admittedly, Dalrymple Hamilton is a permanent, we can go faster, more power personality when he's doing that, but they have that as an option. I think if you'd had even just a third shaft, I think it would have made a massive difference in terms of their speed. Littorio class are very cool, but I would... You see, the trouble is about Littorios is, whilst I like them, I prefer the Francisco Caracola design, which wasn't built, and I just... because of that, because of my seeing them as basically a... almost a second attempt to get that cherry, I prefer... I don't like them as much. They are a favourite ship of the Italians that were built, although the Dante Alighieri is also pretty cool. If you've seen a Dante Alighieri, it looks gorgeous in some photos. But, yeah, the Francisco Caracola is probably my favourite design, and my favourite what if. If they're built, the difference it has on the world, the big effect the Francisco Caracola class would have had on the world. Because they're everything the Royal Navy wanted the Queen Elizabeth class to be, but actually built, actually could have been built. Actually could have been built. Are they retreating? No. The AI in this game does not retreat. Not in the custom battles. They do occasionally in the campaign, but it's incredibly rare. I think I managed to make them do it once. Ooh. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Ow! Yeah, in reference, please note, if a ship is doing that, it is not afloat. It is probably going to sink, and at this point, the crew should probably be being ordered to abandon the ship. And probably would be in reality. Not still trying to fight it. Battle of Narvik. That's a famous engagement that didn't involve the Bismarck. The Battle of North Cape. There's all sorts of battles in the Mediterranean. Battle of Matapan. There's several battles actually in the Mediterranean, but they are famous at various points. But you know, there's tons involved, and there's the River Plate. There's lots not involving not the Bismarck. The Bismarck is actually very small. That's like two engagements. In naval history terms, the Royal Navy in World War II, that's practically nothing. It gets a lot of fame because of the press afterwards, but no, there are a lot more. And of course, there's the battles in Norway where, you know, HMS Renown has fun beating up... Oh, she surrendered. Beats up Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. So... Okay. What would people like me to try and build? What would you like to try and see if we could make it practical? Yeah, it's rare they surrender, but... Yeah. Death Rider, the shiny horse. There are lots of shiny horses. You can suggest a specification. I will try and make it as accurate as possible within the bounds of UAD. Sometimes people ask me to recreate specific ships and try and fix them. Sometimes people do all sorts of things, actually. They put all sorts of things. They go, right, can this ship beat HMS Bismarck is sometimes the case, because I do actually in here. I do have my Poseidon, which is my Bismarck equivalent. I also have my Nice down Scharnhorst equivalent. And Prince Regent Leopold is probably my more Bismarck equivalent. This is my, to an extent, fixed Bismarck. Oh. Okay, Runa. Well, that is easy. Super battle cruiser, or modernized battle cruiser. I can probably make it on this, but I haven't made one of these in a while. But I think I'm going to go for this. Right. Let's go down to 36 knots. We want oil fuel. We want gear turbines. We want that. We're probably going to need forced when we get there. We want modern armor. We want to be upgraded. Nice double hull. Reinforced. Anti-flood. All nothing or turtleback. All nothing. Let's go for all nothing. So we wanted quads, didn't we? Yeah. Why did it not like that bar bet? Now, with the engine, let's go for forced. That'll do. Best bar bets we can have. That's historically accurate. We're going for that because I like it to survive. We want increased shells, of course. We want capped, sundry, standard ratio, standard size shells. Conic because it's British. Sonar because it's British. And that because it's British. Now 4-weight offset. Right, and let's go check out the armour, see what we can do about the armour. Well, we want to make that about 12 inches for starters. Full weight offset. Aft belt. Main deck up to 6 inches. Fore belt up to 6 inches. Aft deck up to 3 inches. Let's put that up to 6. .3, that'll do. And yeah, let's just work on get some secondary guns in. What should we put in? I like 4.5s. I'm going for twin 4.5s. I'm going to say this is an early build. Not sure why, but yeah, just going to go for an early build. And they're going to be 4 1/2 inch. And lengthwise, they are 35 caliber. Well, they need to be bigger than that. They do need to be bigger than that. Oh, I'm going to put her up against a Bismarck. Right then. So they've got 48. That's what the British were going. The 15-inch 48 is about right for the British at this point. That's what they'd have been going for. That's all in. That's all in. I've got lots more armor space, so I can up things to do with that box. The aft foredeck we can up a bit. That's okay. And now we can up this a bit. And well, we're giving it a decent belt, still keeping a very good speed. And underweight. Wow, we've got a 14-inch belt going on. That's quite... An 18-inch belt, that's quite nice. And main deck, let's up that as well. With the space we have left, the weight we have left, excuse me. And as you'll notice, the roll and the pitch are both going down as I do this, which is one of the reasons why I'm adding in this weight. But it is going to make this a very interesting ship. That should do. I'm worried about the engine efficiency. I've got geared turbines, got this large funnel. That will do plus 72.5 for funnel capacity. That's 57. Just weird that you cannot put multiple funnels. Forward offset 7% now. That's not nice. But what can we do about that? 7% still. What can we do about that? Let's see, what does that do? That gives us 5.8% halfway offset. Okay. That looks about right to me. That looks about what I would like it to look like. So here we go. We have a emergency build battle cruiser. What are we calling her? Let's give her a slightly different added name because it's let's see. Well, I think actually, as it was suggested by Alfarius, this should probably be Alpha, shouldn't it? And let's check what the opponent has. The opponent is going to be a very nice person, so that's a fairly decent ship, equivalently armed and crewed. Let's go. If I would, I'll go to history. Ooh. The Vanguard hull was transom lines and nicer looking lines, though of course that doesn't equal good hydrodynamics. The Lion hull would have been interesting. Yep. She's up against a... She is up, as you can see. This is a UAD version of Bismarck. And Tirpitz to an extent. Myself, I would not be charging straight towards your opponent. You are a battle cruiser. Now that does mean she has 12 guns to this vessel's 8. She also has a fairly solid armor belt for a battle cruiser with 18 inches of armor. But, yeah. She does... She has a top speed of 36 knots, so frankly, she's not exactly a slouch in any scenario. I love this history. If Harwood had had the Cumberland with him, do you think he would have split his heavy cruisers together and Leanders together, or one-on-one? I think he'd have split his forces 3 ways. I think he'd have gone full... basically have tried to divide the Graf Spey's fire even more by have the Cumberland come from one side, probably the Exeter come from the other side, and the Leanders come from behind, so that whichever way it went... Ooh. This is when I remember that this is the Bismarck, which I made horrendously overpowered Yeah. Go up to full speed, please, and get out of there. I don't know these things. If you don't watch the intelligence of the system, it sends your capital ships on a suicide run. I don't know why that's their default position, to charge at each other, but that isn't what they would have done. Ooh, that's nasty, and that's because it's got so close, and it is a battlecruiser. As you say, she is built for speed and firepower, but she is... Well, she has 12 15-inch guns. That's a fairly decent armament in anyone's business. But the thing is, you don't charge into close range with a battleship. I will never understand this AI. I will never. So if I do this, and then I return the flagship. So when we go back and we're looking at the pitch and roll, oh goody. There again, this is kind of traditional for an Alpha Legion flagship. Now this is the thing, if you have the range advantage, even if it is literally about a kilometre or so as a range advantage, which is what this ship really has, you use it! Especially for the range and the speed advantage. This vessel has a maximum speed of 30 knots. Even wounded. This is capable of 31 knots. Just fast enough that as it was going away at 33 knots at a time, it's managed to keep the distance. I think... Am I right in thinking... Hang on, is the person... The person is now out of armor-piercing ammo. It's entire left with high explosive ammo. Hello, Jacob. It's not aquaplaning, but it's also not good. I think there's like one turret working properly, one turret working similarly, and I think this turret might be out completely. That's gonna hurt. I remember correctly at a certain point, I actually managed to make a Bismarck design so strong that it could actually beat an 18-inch gun battleship. And what was funny was that ship, that design was, I still think, lighter than the actual Bismarck itself was. It didn't hurt that at that time, this one, the system's, the Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought's version of, you know, a turtleback armor was just amazing. Jacob, I can't run UAD anymore. It works, but with all the upgrades they've been doing, my laptop can't handle it anymore. Ships move like a snail, barrels don't move, or muzzle blasts are much later than that. Yeah, the latest upgrade is out. It upgraded actually this evening before I went live, which was actually did delay me going live, because it's now up to 1.3.9.7. I can just sit there and go, yay, 1.3.9.7. This shows how often you're updating it, that your update register is down to 4 sort of separate digits and decimals. I'm waiting for it to go to 1.4. When it's doing everything it can, it seems to me, to avoid getting to 1.4. And I swear the last two updates, the actual AI of the commander of the ships has actually gone down. Every time I leave it to UAD to command ships in the campaign, or even in this scenario, they just charge at each other. It's absurd. It is good, the fact that ships can't be seen. It's, you know, it gives you a proper perspective of the distance involved. This ship is not in a good state. It should, let's be honest, it should not still be fighting. It's only fighting because it's in UAD world. And if I was a nicer man, I might have conceded. But I think actually Alpha can still win this fight, so I'm staying in it. You see, you can't see Alpha. Basically, the people who could see Alpha were, well, they're now dead, they're in that position. on this objective. So yeah, it's the aft director is now in charge. So this post should actually be orientated facing that way, because this will be in charge of directing the fire. Because I think all the forward directors have gone. Ooh! Turret's blown up. Turret has blown up. But they still have ammunition left. For the main gun. 53 shells. Must be the amount of the racks in the actual guns themselves. Their stereoscopic ranging, I do not want to get close to them. So I will keep at the maximum extent of their range. As you see, I am actually inside their 15-inch guns range right now, but the fact is, I've done so much damage to their ability to see me, they're not really firing. But they're still orientating these after guns on me, so they might well try and fire. So far it seems they haven't. Alpha class don't go down easily. No, they don't. E-boat versus Howitros. You could probably do that. You could probably do that. Torpedo boats versus destroyers. Yeah. That's just not a good look. Oh, that's painful. But this, look at how dirty this ship is. That is another reason I like this game, because it does make shit look dirty. They're not just losing stats, they're actually looking dirty. They look like they've been hit. Although, interesting enough, this one doesn't look like it's been firing its guns. Because whilst they're dirty where they've been hit, the guns aren't dirty where they've been fired. Right, I think... I would normally say I think I can let the AI run this, but I'm not sure I can even at this point let the AI run this, because theoretically I should be able to let the AI run it.
Should, he says. That's just not good. That's so much fire on. Ooh. Youch. I think this one might end up succumbing to fire. There's just so much fire blazing if you look at the damage report. Oh, that's not good. I was told by someone the other day you can actually the whole ship can end up blowing up completely. I'm not sure if I want to see that or not. I haven't seen it happen, but it's apparently with fire. The whole ship can blow up. They've surrendered due to high casualties. Okay.
Well, Alpha has won. Now, if we go back to the design ship section quickly, I can show you what I mean by Alpha having very good pitch and very good roll, because I basically, the thing I found, the sort of hack I found with this UAD is to make the center of the ship, i.e. the main belt and main deck, as heavy as I can make them. If I up them up, you see the pitch goes down and the roll goes down. So if I put that up to 12, ship is sort of overweight. But we can do that, and we're back underweight. And as you can see, the pitch is now at 23.4%, the roll's at 15%, and the main belt is 18 inches thick, and the main deck is 12 inches thick. A battlecruiser with this kind of protection is going to be interesting to fight. Now, it's got reinforced bulkheads, and it has the standard amount. The moment you start to add in more, you notice that the pitch and the roll sort of change around a bit. Now, at this point, you are now 2,000 tons overweight. So what do you do? How do you fix that? Well, if you take the draft down, that can reduce things. But if you take the draft down too much, instead of that taking, that sort of increases your roll. Well, I said increases your roll, and actually increases your pitch. So you can also up them. And that can have the opposite effect. Of, changing things positively. Now, you still, at this point, would be considered 2,070 tons roughly overweight. So how would you get it down? Well, if you affect the main belt, let's say take that down to 16, how does that affect your other things? It doesn't take that much off you in terms of your operations, but it does have an effect on your pitch. Remember, you're now at 24.6%, so you got to think about that. You have got to think about that. Turrets also have very low armor in battle cruiser worlds, so you're going to probably need to want to sensibly fix those. But what you can start doing is you can do that to barbette number 4, which affects things. You can take the anti-flood down to 2. Probably should leave that on 3 though, because it's not much weight saving. Reinforced bulkheads, you've maximised them, so you can take them down in terms of reinforcement, because you've got the maximum. And if you go to many, well, is it better to have many instead of the maximum and have them reinforced and have them absolutely at the most level of protection? Probably. It is still a battle cruiser. Trust me, it is still a battle cruiser. But if we do go down to this, we can put some of our protection into these things. Sort of, for example, pushing this barbette up to, I don't know, a mere 9 inches. Which is always useful and strengthens the barbette. We could also up these a bit. Never hurts to have these be slightly more strongly protected. And there you go. It's ever so slightly enhanced. Now, this is the point you always have to remember when you're thinking about armor is what, in terms of real life, what ranges are you designing your vessel to fight at? If you want your vessel to fight at long range, you want a very strong deck. Aft deck 6 inches thick, forward main deck 12 inches thick, fore deck 3 inches thick. You know, that's a fairly strong vessel. That's a vessel which is going to take quite a pounding. It's also carrying an increased amount of shells, their standard size. But yeah, it's all there. The capabilities are all there. You can also decide, of course, on your weight. You could go, right then, I actually want to make this 48,000 tons, but I want to keep the stats the same. Oh, okay. Well then, let's, you know, start moving some things around. And we go that to there. We might do that to there. Might take that back to there. We might go, let's not do that. Might add another one of those. Might take that forward. And that forward. But that makes the ship go overweight. That's not a good idea. Right then, we now have 120 odd tons to move around in this vessel. What shall we move around in this vessel? What shall we do? Still, we've got fairly good stability. Pitch is now 23.9%. Roll is 14.5%. Engine efficiency has gone through the frigating roof, which is very, very nice. But yeah, aft weight offset. But we've decided this is going to be a long-range engagement ship. So upping that foredeck to 3.3 inches, that's a big impact. That's going to have an effect on us. As well, using some of those extra tons to make our turrets just that slightly stronger. Just a tad stronger, you know. There you go. This is a very, very cool ship, pretty much. But it is designed for at-range engagements. down to that. What about induced? That to make down to there, and I've still got enough engine efficiency for what I need to do. Can I go back to? Can I go to natural? I can. Oh, good lord. Well, then I can have my reinforced bulkheads, can't I? Could I have a triple? No, I can't get that. I flew too close to the sun. I flew too close to the sun. 4-weight offset 2%. It's terrible. I was up to 4.5, but still, pretty decent ship, and now I've got a few hundred tons left. We go to the barbettes, and we go to that. That's not working. Okay. Let's go. That. Halfway offset 5.7%. Oof, we should definitely do something about that. So let's up that to 4.5 on the foredeck. 4-weight now offset 0.8%. That's not good. That is not good. There you go. We're even again. And we still got tons to go. Ooh, what could we do in this scenario? Because this ship is basically very pretty now. But as you can see, she's now, well, got a fairly decent fire plan of 4.5-inch guns all the way around. We can put the inner deck up to 2. Or even 3. We can up that inner deck a bit. And up this one. Oh, yeah. We'll leave it at that. And I think that will do. Shall we launch this again and see what happens? She's got 36 knots of speed. You can have more speed if you want, but you really don't need it. Right then. We'll set her at 30 knot speed. Leave the AA in charge and see what it does. And immediately is going for the charge, so we're not going for the charge. Let's do the very sensible thing. Let it charge us. It can do so if it wants, but we're not going to charge it. Well within my firing line. And let's see, their 15-inch guns are back there. They have 4 kilometers shorter range than ours. Radar fire control does really, really help. And getting that has a really good, interesting effect on the campaign. They're trying to get in range of me. They're possibly going to at a certain point. Why would you think it's a destroyer? Okay. Still taking no damage. And should have avoided coming into range of their guns. Yeah, you're firing at the maximum extent of your range and I'm going at 35 knots. So there isn't much you can do about me unless you get a lucky hit. So this is what we're doing. It's not nice. Oh, they're out of 15-inch ammo. Okay. AI, you have charge. I seem to have managed to take out their guns at both ends. Yeah, they lost 2 of their main turrets already. It's the joy of long-range fire, it's the angle it's coming in at. I'd say this ship is not going fast, although its structure is at 42% and its flotation is at 100%, because that's very good flotation on that ship. But it's very, very damaged structure. And again, please remember for future, learn the standards in your ships. And learn what you're designing your ships for and develop, especially this is during the campaign. Look and see what your ships are being developed on, what research is coming through. If you're getting ships which are fast and have long-range guns, then design them to fight away from the enemy. And try and keep them at a distance when they're fighting from the enemy. Because the thing is about armour and all these things, people tend to go, oh, 18 inches is better than 14 inches, and, you know, thicker armour, better armour is always best. Broadly speaking, you're not wrong. It's always nice to have thicker armour. But you don't necessarily need it. Because if you're going to fight at maximum range, and your aim is to use your guns at maximum range to quickly overwhelm your opponent by deluging them in shells, then you have to think you're not going to need the same amount of armour and the same armouring, in terms of where you put it, as ships which are supposed to close with their opponent at short range and pummel them from close range. So a ship which is going to be doing a long-range engagement could well need more. More deck armor. Could well need structure which supports a deck armor built within its hull, but it might not need as thicker belt armor because you're not going to be doing that. Keeping the belt the same as the thickness as your caliber, that is always a good point to do. Around about that is usually okay. Let's see, how the 4.5-inch gun's doing. Oh, firing away merrily. You see, it's got 8 4.5-inch guns, which is the traditional thing. The 16 guns in 8 twin mounts. But it's actually got a side-by-side broadside of 10 guns because of that that sort of setup I've put down there. Which you can do when you've got one turret aft. The Possum's done very well. It really has. It really has done well. Jacob, I got an Austrian dreadnought with hull with 20-inch belt and 5 twin 14-inch guns. It's hard to sink with a very nice rate of fire. True, it will be. Just wait until you get it up to triple turrets. Triple turrets make all the fun in the game. I swear, once I got triple turrets and I got 16.5-inch guns, I was just happy. Basically, in the campaign, once I can get 16.5-inch guns and once I can get triple turrets, I do not bother beyond that in terms of the guns. I might get the upgrades, I probably do get the technology. I don't care. I don't bother them because they are enough. They are enough for me to do it and for me to keep churning ships out. And that becomes the secret. I've get to the point of technology where I am fine. I can deal with the rest. Let's churn it out. So, Harwich Force versus E-boats. Oh, I've got no hulls available. Let's see what the destroyers look like at the moment. And... oh, if I take that back, I have to take that back as well. That's not fair. Because I want to deal with modern E-boats. So we'll do destroyers versus destroyers and design ships. Let's see what's the German destroyer shape we can get. Oh, I think I built this, didn't I? I have designed this. This is a very, very powerful German destroyer, I think. Of some kind. But I don't think it doesn't look to me much like a real World War II era destroyer. Let's go for an actual not hybrid destroyer, modern destroyer leader. That would do. Yeah, that sort of looks like it. Oof. Why have that there and not have a funnel which can fit up there? Because that just seems weird. Wow, that's a fat destroyer. Okay, something's not in scale. Something is really not in scale. Why is that I have... oh, that's for that, that goes to that way. This is... Why is that not... Surely... Why... Sorry, I'm just trying to work out this design system and why it's got things the way it has. Because you surely would design it so the funnels could fit up there. This looks more like a freighter at current design. But apparently they haven't, so... Okay. This is going to be interesting. It is certainly going to be... Okay, let's start off with a German destroyer design. Let's start off with the Narvik class. (9036A). So, for single or one twin and three single for 5.9 inch guns. Okay. And that's that. We'll leave the displacement of this. Okay, we'll leave the displacement of this because, frankly, I can't do anything like I should be able to do. Hey. Okay, so we got that for those. We got singles. So if we go to here, single, single, single. Yay. Right, I'm supposed to be able to stick the funnel up here to be accurate, but as you can see the funnel won't fit, and the torpedoes in here and here. They're supposed to be quadruple 21-inch tubes. That's what we're going to do. We are going to do that. Half weight offset. Increase. We'll have... We'll give them things which they probably didn't actually get, really. What else can I do? What else should we do? Four belt. So these are the German ships. They are facsimiles of a Narvik class. He says, I can put the AA guns up there, can't I? I can. I can put the 1.5-inch AA guns up there. They have 2 of those. And they are supposed to be 1.5-inch. Right, and the 5 point, they're supposed to be 5.9. And let's see. If I remember correctly, they are. What are they in caliber terms? If I remember correctly. Hmm. 7.165 meters divided by 15. Yeah, about right. So these are 38s. They need to be up to 40. Oh, Alex Maths. Sorry, this is where I do sound a bit strange, but I'm a historian, not a mathematician. So if you don't mind, I am quickly going to Excel spreadsheet, and I'm doing equals 7,165. No. 6815 over 15 . 45 colour. Yep, I was right to be distrustful of my maths. They can't still be 45. .45 caliber guns. Some parts are badly placed. There we go. Half weight offset 0.2%. So, I'm now going to design my ships, my destroyers. Well, no. Let's go for the hull. Advanced destroyer large. That looks more like the hull we'd be talking about for me. That doesn't look like any Royal Navy destroyer of the period. That doesn't either. That looks more German than it looks British. And even that's not right for the Germans. That funnel's angled wrong. Why is it angled like that? It should be... That's just wrong. That's right. Oil, fuel, gear turbines, auxiliaries, shafts. Yeah, all that. And juice? Yeah, that'll do. No torpedo launchers at the moment. Cute. Sevens, and what are they? Oh, good God, that's definitely not right. Oh. That's not right either. Ay, caramba. Let's see when it started. That should do. And yeah, we'll see, shall we? Now, these ships are supposed to charge at each other. Let's go check their shells. Because I'm nice. So they've got a range of 23, and historically they had a speed of 36 knots, yeah.
It's all accurate. You see, the thing I'm not liking... I wonder if I can do a 5-inch gun and take it down to 4.7. Nope. I have to take the 4.7 on the 4-inch gun. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, shall we? We've got 2 tribals in this game versus 2 German destroyers. They're literally bobbing with anger there. We'll see what happens. Let's see. A lot of over-penetrations going on. The Germans, I think, have fired most of their torpedoes. But yeah, I have a feeling their guns are going to get the full, because for some reason their 5-inch guns are massively outranging the 4.7s, whereas in reality the 4.7 was not that far behind the 5.9 in terms of range. It really wasn't. And the difference is, of course, the real historical ones were single mounts rather than turrets and weren't stabilized, which meant loading them and organizing and prepping them was a completely different experience. I'm not sure how I would make a tribal class equivalent on this game, but I'd probably have to use 5-inch guns as starters just to get into the matching range, and I'd probably have to use triple turrets to get the range of the rate of fire up to the required rate of fire. I don't know. Saying that, they're not having an easy run. seems to me rate of fire is having the effect it should do, even with the range disparity and the issues coming up. Oh, good lord. Let's have a look at the ship stats details again. Let's see. Torpedo status. No damage torpedoes. Well, got damage to torpedoes. Main gun status. No damage main guns. 68% of ammo expended. 37%. Torpedo accuracy 0% for anyone. 8.8%, 10%, 11%, 9.5%. Interesting. Fires received. It's all interesting, this one. It's an interesting set of stats. There is an interesting set of stats going on. Definitely different. Definitely different than I was expecting. That was interesting. That was interesting. So, it's now 9 o'clock. I have been officially working and up since about 7 AM this morning, so I think I'm probably going to go and say thank you very much everyone, and I'll finish this evening unless anyone has any further questions I'd like to do. So if people have further questions, then I'll stay around for a bit longer, but honestly, as said, I've been up since about 7 AM, working since 7 AM. I've been up since about 6 AM, so yeah, I'll probably call it a night now. But let's answer Jacob's questions. Jacob actually does an interesting question. Did any nation ever design it in such a way that they were similar to another class or an enemy with confusion tactics in mind? If you look at the tribal class destroyers, they look like cruisers from a distance. If you look at the county class cruisers, they look like Royal Navy capital ships with their layout and their sort of their shaping. So yeah, there's a lot of classes, and there's a lot of them. There's a reason the Americans like to go for 3 triple turrets for their heavy cruisers and their capital ships at a certain point, because it makes them all look sort of similar. And if you look at some of the American designs, they do look very similar. And the idea was to make it more and more, difficult to tell them apart at range, especially from aerial reconnaissance point of view. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll be back Sunday probably to do a campaign one. I might turn up Saturday. It's going to depend on how Saturday goes. Take care, everyone, and toodles.